Welcome to For Love and Money, business models that support and benefit from the work of citizen scientists, brought to you by openscientist.org, where getting started is easy. A few years ago, I tried to identify the key elements to successful citizen science projects. I presented those findings in 2012, including the main one that the strongest predictor of a successful citizen science project is the availability of a reward. This concept of a reward was meant broadly, meaning either a cash reward or an in-kind reward, such as touring a researcher's lab or gaining access to an advanced paper. But it had to be tangible. Less tangible rewards such as increased knowledge or volunteer satisfaction, those were not included. But why rewards? Well, as a famous man once said, science is a wonderful thing if you don't have to earn one's living at it. With rewards, we can at least start to pay back citizen scientists for their work, even if we can't provide them a full living. Yet. But more specifically, how does providing rewards help citizen science? Well, from a citizen scientist's point of view, it starts with a level of acknowledgement and respect offered a person when your words of thanks are backed up with something real. It does not have to be cash, it can be some other in-kind reward, but it has to be something the participant knows is real. But the cost of rewards bring other benefits too. It is a great lure to help people notice and join a project. Then, once they start working with you, it keeps them more engaged, especially if additional rewards come as progress is made. These also help build retention, helping projects keep people involved and avoiding the problem many researchers have when once excited participants stop showing up. Finally, there is the fairness aspect to it. Researchers are saving millions of dollars each year based on the work of those dedicated amateurs, and companies stand to profit from the impacts of this research, so it's only fair that they receive some sort of compensation for this effort, or at least acknowledgement and respect. But the presence of rewards does not just help citizen scientists. It can help businesses too. Because when there are financial rewards, there are profits. And when there are profit opportunities, you find businesses, whether they are directly connected to it or not. Take the example of Levi Strauss. After the discovery of gold in Florida, people flocked from across the country to try their hand at mining and attempt to become rich. In essence, a new field opened up, and they all wanted to collect a reward, gold, for their effort. But this didn't just attract miners. It also attracted businesses hoping to tap that market of people heading west. One of these was Levi Strauss, who first gained success as a store owner selling supplies to the new miners. They brought few clothes with them, and those they had were quickly torn from all the rugged labor. From this came an idea for strengthening denim pants with rivets, and a fortune was made. Not by a hardworking gold seeker, but by a savvy businessman following the trail of rewards, and to the mutual benefit of those miners too. In much the same way, there are fantastic business opportunities that businesses can enter and help support the growing market of citizen science research. There are literally millions of people in the U.S. alone helping with wildlife observations and water sampling, just to name a few areas. But there are very few tools or equipment designed for them. Sure, some have been put together by well-meaning nonprofits, and some have been adapted from existing professional tools. But there is a huge market for innovative companies willing to design and market these products. Additionally, on the flip side, with the open innovation concept of tapping the public for new ideas spreading through industry, citizen scientists are the perfect people to engage. They are eager, knowledgeable, and have proven their ability to perform publication-worthy data. They also have a widely diverse set of skills and experiences, exactly the place to find the out-of-box thinking open innovation is designed to spark. And the best part is these two build upon each other. The more citizen science can help industry, the more support can be provided by industry. They build upon one another, a virtuous cycle that brings in precious capital to support those efforts. As the field grows, so do the benefits. As industry opens its door to citizen science contribution, it gives those amateurs the chance to work in whole new sets of problems and data sets, adding a whole new type of reward. But how do we get there? Specifically, what can citizen scientists do that create value and then reap the rewards from for-profit businesses? I started to answer that at the 2015 Citizen Science Conference in San Jose, and there are three basic approaches I recommend. The first is a traditional research model. Citizen scientists can act as paid participants, getting a few dollars to look for wildlife in an environmentally and economically sensitive area. This may be low-value work, but that effort is worth something. However, they find a certain species that either shows an ecosystem is endangered, thus off limits to development, or find the opposite, allowing commercial uses, there is value to that observation. So a business or a researcher may place a bounty on finding a certain type of warbler. In that case, the first person to bring proof of that valuable bird wins a $5,000 prize, let's say. Citizen scientists can also organize their own environmental work on that ecosystem in a more independent way as an environmentalist. But finally, a company can sponsor a challenge project looking for someone to solve a specific problem. This is the solver approach currently pioneered by Innocentive and similar companies. Now, these are all just different ways citizen scientists can approach businesses and can find ways to make their research economically viable. They can do one or multiples or all. It all depends on what is most beneficial and appropriate for them. The second model looks at the activities surrounding citizen science. This includes items such as writing about citizen science issues and then supporting it with affiliate or ad sales. There's also creating and selling educational materials using or about citizen science, especially for those projects that include a large educational component. You can sell some of that knowledge and experience to those researchers to help them educate their own citizen scientists. One can also work as a consultant based on your citizen science experience, or strike out on your own as an entrepreneur, monetizing your own citizen science research. Either citizen scientists or existing businesses can enter these markets. It just depends on how one approaches the opportunity. The third model includes activities that support citizen science. This includes selling a service that helps researchers design citizen science projects. Not all of them can handle the organizational aspects of it, even if they understand the science, and may need help getting those citizen scientists to work cohesively. One can also develop and organize a network of citizen scientists trained in a given field that can then be made available to interested researchers needing the help, so that there is already a pool of useful, experienced, highly knowledgeable workers they can have. One can also act as an analyzer, selling services to citizen scientists, for example, those who do water quality testing, where they want to test the water in their backyard, but they can only run, let's say, 2/3 of the test themselves. Others they just don't have the equipment for, and so they can send that out to a business or other citizen scientist who can do the rest of that work for a small fee and find a way to profit from that effort. Finally, there's the ability to manufacture new types of equipment specifically for use by citizen scientists. Again, this goes to that great aspect where citizen scientists are supported by businesses and then can use those funds to continue to support themselves, put that money back into businesses that support them, and the virtuous cycle continues. So there are many potential opportunities in all these areas, and we've only just scratched the surface. And there are a few pioneers that have already begun trying, and we can learn from what they are doing. For example, the firm Ubiome sells analyses of gut bacteria to people interested in their own physiology, and Ubiome does so at a profit. Similarly, there are firms that collect networks of volunteer experts, including citizen scientists, that they can draw on to support client researchers needing insights from the open innovation space. These aren't just pie-in-the-sky ideas. There is a proof of concept here. Some people are beginning to do this work, but there are also still many unexplored opportunities just waiting to be discovered. But why for-profit businesses and not nonprofits? This question comes to me a lot, especially from the current citizen science community that was raised in an academic and nonprofit world. For one, I think it provides a clarity of focus. After all, when you put dollars to activities, people very quickly learn to differentiate the valuable from the non-valuable activities. It also offers a source of capital to invest in services that support the field, as well as to the scientists themselves so they can support their own self-sustaining research. It's also a huge motivator for growth. Using a profit motive to supplement the current work done solely for what is done now for environmental, personal, or other less tangible reasons. But ultimately it boils down to one thing: delivering and showing value. Nothing will be successful in the citizen science or for-profit world unless it can do those two things simultaneously. So, to sum it all up, here are some wise words from Scott Hubbard, the former director of the NASA Ames Research Center. History teaches us that without a trailing edge of commercial exploitation and profitability, exploration as a large-scale, routine human endeavor will not succeed. This is true for space and is true for citizen science as well. Now it's up to us to make it a reality.